Joining me right now is Florida Congressman, National Guard Colonel, and former Green Beret Commander Michael Waltz. Congressman, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. You're working on a bill that would alert voters when their information has been accessed or compromised, right? Tell me about that.
Well, it's called the Alerts Bill, Maria, and, kudos to the administration for two things. One, building the infrastructure in the FBI, the DHS, the intelligence community to detect this interference. And then kudos to the next piece, which is for telling the public at the end of the day, what China, Iran, Russia ultimately want is to sow chaos and to sow discord and to doubt, in the heart of our democracy. But this is, in this case, this is Iran and Russia up to their old tricks. Iran desperately wants President Trump out due to its maximum pressure campaign, and they know Biden will go back to impeachment. But we have to stay strong, continue to communicate to the public. But I think at the end of the day, Maria, this isn't going to stop until we reestablish deterrence when it comes to our infrastructure. So the old adage of, maybe we need to flick the lights in the Ayatollah's palace and demonstrate a will and a capability to do this as well, because what they ultimately care about is staying in power on their end. If we demonstrate that we can affect that, then perhaps we'll get Iran, Russia, China, and these other bad actors to back off.
Now, you make a good point, because I think Joe Biden over the last few weeks said that one of the first things he's going to do is return the U.S. to the Iran deal and also the Paris climate deal. So those two things is two things that Biden has talked about. So you're right. Iran probably wants that. More on the state of the 2020 election, because we saw President Obama out campaigning yesterday, and a new Reuters poll shows a tight race in your state of Florida. Joe Biden is leading President Trump, according to this poll, by 4 points, as former President Barack Obama hit the campaign trail for Joe Biden yesterday in Philadelphia. He slammed President Trump. Listen to this. I want to get your reaction.
I never thought Donald Trump would embrace my vision or continue my policies, but I did hope, for the sake of the country, that he might show some interest in taking the job seriously. But it hasn't happened. He hasn't shown any interest in doing the work or helping anybody but himself and his friends.
Your reaction?
Well, let's just quickly walk down what is a long list of what President Trump actually got done, the results that Obama Biden didn't, from justice reform to tax reform to the Abraham Accords to truly standing up to China and leveling the playing field, veterans reform between accountability and choice. I mean, Maria, the list is long. The adage is absolutely true that he has gotten more done in 47 months than Biden has in 47 years. But in terms of Florida, poll after poll is showing within the margin of error. I'm paying attention to raw vote totals. We've seen the Democrats with a surge in vote by mail, but I believe that's cannibalizing and taking from their election day, while we're seeing an absolute surge and a red wave in early voting from Republicans. We have an increase in registration. We have an increase in what we're going to see on election day. And I think at the end of the day, we're seeing 400,000 at least high propensity voters that are still sitting out there for the Republicans. So I'm optimistic.
Yeah, Congressman, what does the president need to do tonight in this debate, real quick, in terms of this face-off with Joe Biden tonight? Any thoughts on what we'll see?
Just compare the records, right? What he has done versus what Biden will do when controlled by the left, and what he hasn't been able to do in 47 years. Go down that list of accomplishments like the RNC convention did that have affected everyday Americans' lives. He had a tweet yesterday that I loved, that your 401k will tank under Biden and 180 million Americans will lose your health care. That's what Americans care about, those kitchen table issues.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I mean, before COVID showed up, we were talking about the lowest unemployment rate we've seen in some cases ever. You also saw income inequality beginning to narrow for the first time in decades. Right. And you mentioned it earlier, foreign policy. How about the beginning of Middle Eastern peace, where you've got the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain normalizing relationship with Israel? So it's hard to believe that he's not taking the job seriously. I know it's all politics, but still. Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you so much. Congressman Michael
and
Waltz,
what he's doing
there. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was just saying, and what he's doing on China is just, that is the story for the rest of this century when it comes to foreign policy, and it is night and day different.